Welcome back. Welcome back to An Athlete's Journey. I am your host, Travis Reed. Today, I got a special guest, somebody I've been talking to for a couple of years now. I met her when she was still, in college, and I told her, I'll interview her when she gets some experience overseas. Definitely wanted to get her on the show because she got that experience. She
Hey,
got that experience. She got that, what I'm saying, that year under her belt. The first year is always the hardest year for any player to play professional. So definitely wanted to, like I said, get her experience this year. She's a really good person, really nice. But like I said, we've been talking for a couple, like a year, 2 years now almost. So please introduce yourself to the people.
hi guys. I'm LaShayla Wright Ponder. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. From the
Yep. So like I said, she was like, first team all league when I was talking to her in college. And she was telling me she was about to go to, different countries and had different countries talking to her. So I was just giving her advice. Like I said, I watched her game. She has a lot of skill. She can hoop, like really hoop. I'm not even gassing her because she's on the show. She can really hoop. She can't beat me. But she can but she can hoop, what I'm saying? Just want to put that out there. So well, we're gonna get right into it. How did your basketball journey start?
Ooh, at the age of 10, actually. I first started off with karate. I think I was like maybe between 8 and 10. Did that for a little while. One day my mom just took me to a basketball practice. It was with the Urban Stars. And I was like, why do I gotta put a ball in the basket? It was just around that age I was questioning everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I guess around age 11, fast forward, I went to basketball practice around like 8, 9, and 10. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like it the first day. My mom was like, you should play basketball. You got the height for it. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I didn't like it. But the more fast forward, faster I do, or the more practice I went to, the more I said, okay, I guess it does make sense to basketball. I started falling in love with the game around that age. And so I kept growing. I went to I guess I started playing AAU around age. I forgot what age it starts AAU, but I was young then. I think maybe 12, 13. I started doing AAU.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when everything's blossomed. And I played for the Minnesota Stars, and with the top coach in Minnesota, almost in the country, Tracy Martin, and we were the top team in the country, like third in the country. From there, I started playing high school ball. I started late. Not when I say late, the age, like I was off and on. I guess my freshman year, I went to Bloomington Kennedy High School in Minnesota, and it was a great experience. I was still kind of iffy about basketball, but I liked it more than I liked the karate, so I quit karate. And of
Oh,
course,
so that was the other, because the next question was like, were you interested in other sports? But obviously you were
yeah,
interested in karate. So do you
yeah.
still practice karate to this day?
No. After I let it go at that age, I'm like, I'm done. Let's play basketball. What's this
Uh,
about? So I started questioning everything. Um,
okay, so you ever broke a board or
yeah.
anything like that?
I don't remember that. I don't know what belt I stopped at in karate, but I stopped. It was at the, I don't know what, I think the red belt or the yellow. I can't remember, but
Okay, okay.
at least I went a little bit further with it. But yeah, so AAU is where I blossomed, and then I started taking AAU is where I kind of got most of my scholarships for pro, like, because my team was already, before I was on a team, the girls I was playing with, they were already together. They already played, they played since they was like third grade, fourth grade. I just came into the picture. So it was great. AAU was my best years of basketball, even to this day, because it was like we traveled to different states. I mean, it was, my favorite place was Vegas, actually. Vegas, man, we had a
Hey,
great
a
time.
lot of people's favorite place is Vegas, so you ain't
And
you ain't
Vegas
in a minority there.
and Chicago too. Chicago was good too.
All
And
right, all right.
yeah, so AAU, I would say that was my mark of basketball right there. Because not only did it give me, like, I came out of there with 25 offers total after I got done. Because I think before senior year of high school, you can't play AAU anymore. So I blossomed throughout AAU. High school was good too, but AAU was where I was talked more about because AAU was where, that's where I'll say the word hype, that's where it all comes out and you get you exposed.
Okay.
Um
So obviously
and
you're one of the top AAU people, right?
yeah, teams, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
in the obviously in the state of Minnesota. So what was your most memorable moment in two places? What was your most memorable moment in high school, and what was your most memorable moment in the AAU?
Starting with high school is actually when we made the state. I think this was it was my freshman year. We made the state, and we didn't win close game, but we didn't win. But it was memorable because as a freshman, I played a little, but it wasn't a lot because I was still young. But it was just remembering that moment. I mean, being grateful that I was there. Look how hard we worked to get there, even though I was still young, but I was still playing with the older, girls. So I would say making it a state.
Okay,
Yeah.
and your most memorable AAU moment.
Almost every tournament, from the moment I started, I don't know. I would say every moment I enjoyed, like when I first started to when I ended. I would definitely say, let's say Vegas, my last year.
Okay.
Man, that tournament right there, man, we went everywhere. I mean, I would say stayed in the best hotels. I mean, just like sightseeing, going a lot of places. It was just every day, every year. AAU was my best year. I can't name a specific. I would say actually Vegas was my specific memorable moment because I just when we played in Vegas, sorry to say, but we smashed teams, man. We that year was wow. I thought we had a power team. Like, I mean, we were already ranked, but we were, yeah. I would say Vegas for sure.
Okay. Well, okay. Now my next question would be: you're one of the top players in the state of Minnesota.
Mhm.
So how did your college like the process go for you as far as recruiting, as far as dealing with all that?
So my college career, it was whew, if it weren't for AAU, I wouldn't know that I had scholarships, but if it weren't for that, that's where I got all my notice from. I would say, um, of course, everybody get letters in the mail from college saying they're interested and all that stuff. So I was getting like uh mails every week or probably almost every day from colleges. And I was still young, so I had to have help from my high school coach and my AAU coach. So I had to have help from them because I was like, I don't want to just pick. I need help because I don't want to just go anywhere. Just the same thing when you play overseas. But so I kind of like collected all my mail. Because my AAU coach really was the one talking to them. I was just receiving the mails, and I was telling him like I got an offer from here. I got letter from here, and I will always go back to him. And he will help me kind of like tell me, this is where this is at. You sure you want to go to this school? Kind of just tell me as I'm getting more mail, and more offers. So it was pretty much just a help from my AAU coach and parts of my high school coach. They both helped me kind of just don't just go there just for basketball. Look at the resources you're gonna get. You're gonna be on a full ride scholarship. So that I had help. I had a lot of help. Even my mom helped me, even though she didn't know a lot about it, but she kind of helped me, like as knowing her daughter. Like she know I like being active. She know I like the school. Um, that's one fact I didn't tell you about. But she knew I liked the school. She knew, of course, she knew I liked the basketball. So she's like, okay, yeah, these schools. So they all helped me narrow these schools down. Um, and finally, at the end, I picked University of South Dakota because I was close to home because I wasn't ready to be far away. So I chose South Dakota, like 5 hours away, and stayed there for a semester. Left because just coaches change, but I ended up going to South Dakota. Just stayed there for a semester. Did school. Right before the season ended, I transferred to University of Hampton. Stayed there for 3.5 years. I liked the school, but again, another coach changed, so I didn't feel comfortable with the new one, so I left.
Hmm.
um, but then my last stop was Tampa, University of Tampa. Stayed there for 2.5 years. Everything about Tampa was beautiful. School, like everything was. I was taken care of. I was loved more. I felt more love towards that school than, to be honest, school I was at. Because I felt like even if I didn't want to play basketball, I could be myself. I could, I can blossom. So it was I would say Tampa was my last spot, but that was my best spot. That's where I felt like I found myself really.
Okay. Well, like I said, I think that we all find ourselves in the journey that we choose to take. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I transferred. I was at a huge university, UCLA, and I ended up transferring to a, quote unquote mid-major, school in Long Beach State. So I didn't leave home either. I was probably this close signing to Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
and which is like 6 hours away. So it's not terribly far, but
Right.
um once my dream school was UCLA. So once they offered me, I was like, see you, Arizona. And
Right.
then this when I was transferring, I was this close to signing to Oklahoma with Calvin Sampson.
Yeah.
And I ended up like, nah, my grandma got sick, so I was like, I wanted to stay close to home. She ended up passing anyway, but I was still
Mm-hmm.
home when she had passed, so I ended up going to Long Beach State. But
Yeah.
yeah, now we're gonna go back for your journey a little bit. I have two questions for you. Um, what do you remember most about your first year in college, and what was the hardest thing, like as far as your transition from high school to college?
So my first experience in college was all I could think about was just being blessed. I mean, even though I was at my first school, South Dakota, I was only there for a semester. Me being me, I liked it a lot. I don't like being like just sitting in the dorm and not doing nothing. So I would say my first experience college was just I was just happy all the time. Like I never really, even when I was like, okay, the coaches left, I gotta leave, I'm a transfer. I was still happy. I just felt like my stuff is still getting paid for. Like even if I go to this school, this school, this school. So I would say I was just overall just happy every day. Like, okay, South Dakota is beautiful. Hampton was beautiful. Tampa was beautiful. So I mean, I would say I was just overall happy that I was still playing a sport that I love and also going to school for free. So I would just say that's all I was thinking about as a freshman, even before like senior high school. I mean, it's senior high school and then going into freshman year in college. So I would say definitely like just overall, like just being happy, like, okay, I do have options. I'm not just stuck with one school. I have all these other schools I can, choose from and you know,
Well, that's
um
good. Like I said, I think like what you did, like like it's always a blessing to stay happy even in the
yeah,
midst of the struggle. You know,
yeah.
for myself, and like I always try to smile a lot,
Mhm.
even if I'm miserable inside,
Right,
just to kind of like people think, oh, yeah, he's fine, he's smiling, but like
right.
really, I could be dying inside. So yeah,
Yeah.
trust me, it was that's a good thing, that you stay positive, stay upbeat. What would be my next question for you was what was your greatest, I mean, I think I know what it is, but what would you say your greatest triumph was in college?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
What was your greatest triumph in college? So like what was your greatest accomplishment or triumph that you did in college?
Um, I would say even through all the accolades I have, like all conference, all team, all state, I would say just I always try. I never gave up on what I wanted to. I never gave up on like I want to be a player of the year. Or I want to be, it's called here. They call it the Minnesota. It's like the top player, Miss Basketball. Like I never gave up on that. Like I earned Miss Basketball like runner up, but I never gave up on what I always knew there was something more I can do. Like I never gave up. I always knew that I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. So I would say definitely like always having that mindset. Like even though I didn't earn that, I know I earned that in my heart. So I'll definitely say that.
Okay. Well, that's that. Like I said, what would you say your greatest failure was in college?
We said overthinking everything. Like I did overthink a lot. Like at one point in my life, I was okay. I'm gonna say one point. Like if I earned all conference all 4 years, which I did, at Tampa, or all 3 years I was there. Like I would say I had to like I feel like some years I wanted like I had to be player of the year or I had to be, I know we talked about that a little bit. But
Yeah, I
like I
remember
had to
that.
be
I remember that.
I had to be player of the year to go over to get the most money overseas. Like and that's what I was like, that's not there's people out there that ain't probably the only most they earn was all conference and still probably making a little more or a lot of money overseas. So it's not all about just your accolade just because you don't get player of the year or you don't get All-American in college. It doesn't mean that, you know, you failed at something or you're what's the word? You're just not good enough. And I always thought that, like, you know, I mean, just because I don't earn it does not mean that I'm not an All-American as a player. Just because I didn't get that act or that trophy doesn't mean I'm not, you know.
I think someone told you that. I think I
Yeah,
told you
you
that. Like,
did. You did.
yeah,
You
I might have
did.
told you that. Because I wasn't player of the year. I thought I should have been, but I didn't get it. A friend of mine got it both years. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I
Not
mean,
letting the awards define me. You know, I ain't gonna lie. There's
yeah,
a lot of times I'm like, well, man, if I don't get this, I ain't gonna be there. You know, so I
yeah.
would say not letting accolades define as a basketball player because a lot of players get overlooked all the time.
I
I
was
mean,
player of the year when I went overseas. So you know what I'm saying. So like that, I was MVP to a couple leagues, 3, 4 leagues.
yeah.
So yeah,
Shout
it
out to
was.
you, man. Shout out to you. You taught me that.
Yeah, I
I was
told
like,
you, like, it don't really matter long as you get in the door. Like,
yeah,
how you get in, you can go through the window, back door,
yeah,
crawl, under the house, up the, what I'm saying? It don't
yeah.
matter. Just get in the house, you know what I'm saying?
Right, right,
And once
right.
you in it, stay your ass in, excuse my
Yeah.
language. So
Yeah.
what would you say? So you would say that was the biggest lesson you learned in college?
Yeah. Don't let accolades define who you are. I
Okay.
mean,
Okay.
you know, definitely that.
No, I got you. Actually, that's a heck of a statement. So, obviously, we talked a lot. Obviously, during that time, you you graduate, your first team all league. You're averaging 18 to 10 or whatever it was, 20 and 10. And how was that trying to get a job overseas? How was that struggle for you? Or was it a struggle? Was it easy? Explain that.
It was it's crazy to say it's kind of both because when I was coming out of college, you know, this is a time where I wasn't talking to any agents, but I was, you know, looking for one at a time. Um, I would say definitely like just I thought that, like I said, going back to not let accolades and numbers define who you are. There was a lot of times in my senior year, junior year, you know, I was like, oh my God, I got to get my numbers up to get at least 2,000 a month or 3,000 a month, like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a lot of help. I mean, a guy, you know who Sean McGall is.
Yeah, no, shout out to
Him,
Sean. Shout out to Sean.
you
Sean's my
know,
boy.
yeah, he helped me out. My high school coach, area coach. So it's just all these people around my circle because my name was already being put out there through them, you know, I mean, either whether coach called them. So in different ways, my name was getting out there. So I was still feeling like even if my first year I made $500, I'll be like, dang man, you know. But it was the people around me that had good word for me, that's putting a word for me and telling me, you know, telling these teams like this who she is, all that stuff. So I would say definitely like I didn't just do it. I didn't just you know, had to worry about okay, do your own work. Even though I did my own research, but I didn't have to do much because it was like my college coach, my first agent, he helped me get connected with him. So it was actually through all of them, including you, including Sean, and still like, you know what I mean? It was like getting my name out there. I mean, people was just talking like, you know how agents sometimes can find players any kind of way on social media, whatever. But from what I was told, my name was already being the start of my senior year, I believe, in college. That's when they were like, you know, that's when agents are looking for, you know, players and stuff and all that stuff in different situations. So I would say just people around me, you know, already had me set in stone.
Okay. Well, like I said, I think that's a good thing. And it's not necessarily what I've learned when I was overseas. It's not necessarily what you do; it's kind of who you know.
Yeah.
If you can get somebody to give you a leg up to get you in the door, that's a good thing. I mean, once you're in the door, then you got to prove why you're in the house. But you need somebody to get you in the house.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
regardless of where you come from.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
even if
Mm-hmm.
you know, like again, and this may be rare, but just like I could have got all American all 4 years, all player of the year, and still made $500. You know what I'm saying? So and I had to think about it too. Like, you know, there's one of my teammates I played in Hampton, very good play. I mean, earned everything. Went overseas and at like, you know, I think she said most they charge $400, but they pay for everything. I'm like, see, that's why I'm like, so I was overthinking. It ain't about the accolades. It's, your first year do matter. It matters. Your numbers matter. And I'm, that's where, yes, they look at your stats from college and all that stuff, but it's what you do when you get over there. And I had to learn that, like, okay, just because you average 14 points, whatever in college, they really just look at, okay, well, we're gonna see what she could do when she get over here. Is she gonna average at 14 or more? So, I had to think about that too. Like that was my personal, thinking and stuff. So yeah.
No, I got you. And like I said, I think that's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, to humble yourself to know like it doesn't really matter about this as long as I get here to do that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the fact that you actually, made your money your first year and like, you killed and did your thing, like you were trying to, move on to the next thing is always good. Some people get discouraged of what they're making and they don't put out the maximum effort or whatever the case is, but you did. And that's a good thing. So now my question for you is this, as far as like, your first year overseas and doing what you did, and we'll get back to that in a minute. What would be your best advice for the next generation of you? So if you had a daughter, she was coming up, she was, about to go overseas for her first year, what would you tell her?
Of course, I will start with nutrition. And I gotta say that because for me, even though a lot of people say this, but I would say nutrition is huge. Like I can help my daughter work out, all the stuff and help people train, but nutrition, take care of your body because nowadays, I mean, nowadays the world is kind of different. I mean, not kind of, it's a lot different. So, people are just living, really just to stay, how do I put it this way? Like, it's where it's kind of like it's different. So people care about basketball, but not as much as way before COVID or whatever. So I would say I would start with nutrition. Take care of your body first, and of course, stay in the gym. I mean, that equals everything else. So stay in the gym, take care of your body. Everything will fall in place.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say definitely nutrition and just stay in the gym for sure.
Okay.
And
So
it's another random fact.
okay.
Random fact. Please do not post nothing on social media. No retweet nothing bad. Don't post nothing bad because European coaches, high school coaches, college coaches are looking at everything. For example, you can repost something about John Morant. They might think you just like him because the way you retweeted it or because you saying you're trying to fit him. So social media, that's another third thing I would say is a lot of kids nowadays, or almost every kid in the world almost got a social media. So be careful what you post because they're looking at that too. Like I know we're going through a lot in America. We've been going through a lot since COVID, but please be careful what you post on social media. Like regardless if you're thinking, oh, I'm just retweeting it. No, they look at all that. I mean,
hey, look at Kyrie, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Look, luckily I know I sound old, but like there was no social media when I was hooping overseas.
Yeah, I mean,
Otherwise, I
people
would have
live on social
been,
media now. People live on
yeah,
social media. Like
yeah,
it's
like that's
sad,
their
but
job, yeah. And so
that's our
I would
generation.
have got in a lot of trouble. A lot of dudes would have got in a lot of trouble if there was social media back then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a good thing. Okay, so you're overseas, and you go to three different countries, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what were the countries that you went to?
First went to Australia, then I went to Serbia, and then I went to Germany.
Okay, now you obviously had three different experiences. You said we talked off camera, obviously, saying that Australia was nice, and it is nice. I mean, obviously, like they speak a form of English, because I was like, what the heck is a brekkie, or a fortnight or
Right.
whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the city that I was in Rockhampton, where it was like a big city, so they had all the fast foods, like Kentucky Fried Chicken, McDonald's, Subway,
Right.
31 flavors. Like I was like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Hungry Jack's, which is Burger King. So yeah, like it was insane, when it comes to that. So for your experience in the countries that you've been in, uh obviously Australia was the best, but what was the good traits of Serbia and Germany?
Serbia, I would say everything was close by. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't need, some teams offer you a car. I didn't need one. I had a bus pass, so I didn't need to go outside. I mean, I didn't need anything. Like the gym was right across from where I was living. The grocery stores were right there. So I will say, definitely everything was close. I mean, everything was just, I didn't have to worry about getting here, getting there. I always had a place, get here. So I would definitely say everything was just close by.
You
That
wasn't
was,
you wasn't going
yeah.
out when you go to the club.
Huh?
You taking a
Oh
bus to
no,
the
you know
club?
what? Serbia, whew, they're a whole different type of world. They don't even, they have clubs, but it's not like America. It's more in their culture. It's bars. That's all, bars around. They smoke, drink all day, eat all that stuff. But there was no partying. It was just them, like they could be at a bar just talking all day, and that's what their tradition was. Um, you'll see people sitting outside, drinking coffee all day, all long, and that was Serbia. That was Serbia.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, that part
okay.
I was in.
Well,
Yeah,
no, look, yeah, they drink a lot of coffee, and I had a Serbian teammate. They thought their country was the best. Like he would tell me, Travis, we have the best women, the best wine,
yeah.
the best everything, man.
Where I was at, I was in a small city. Like it was
Okay.
it was Portugal. So it was everything was close niche, like grocery stores here, and there. So it wasn't yeah, it wasn't like I was in a big like city. Biggest city was Belgrade. Belgrade had
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
They had everything. But Portugal, everything was just close by. You go to get your food easily, you go to the gym and get some shots on, all that stuff. But other than that, it was that's all it was. You'll see people, they were more laid back. They weren't the type to, go out and, like party like, Vegas or anything like that, but they were just laid back. Um, I mean, every day it was a chill day. It was never like, oh,
I
that's how they were. They were really laid back. They were really laid
got you.
back.
I got you.
So
Well, that's good. So obviously Germany, you finished in Germany. Did you finish out strong in that year? Like, did you have a finish? Because I don't think we didn't talk about Germany. We talked about Australia and then Serbia, but I don't think we ever talked about Germany.
Germany. Okay, I gotta take it back. Germany is actually one of my is my favorite so far. Australia was there until I hit Germany.
Mm.
Germany. Woo. Okay. The food. Let me start with the food. The food did not taste different from America at all. Like, and they
Okay.
had Chipotle, they had the Burger Kings, they had the McDonald's. I mean, Germany, it was God. Every day was just be like the weather. It was never a bad day. Like, I mean, you will see. Oh my gosh, it was like being in heaven. We don't know what heaven looked like, but it was so nice. It's between Australia and Germany. I don't know which whether it was better, but I might have to tell Australia they're better. But Germany had more things to do in all the countries I've been to. Like in 2 hours, 2 hours away is Amsterdam. So Germany was they had a lot of different cars. Like they had more Teslas than actually like regular cars.
Hmm.
And the stick shift is crazy because Teslas in America are not stick shift, but
Yeah.
the stick shift over in Germany.
Yeah, yeah.
So everything,
Mostly all European cars are sticks. So I
yeah,
had to learn
yeah,
that my first year.
yeah,
That was my biggest thing that I learned how to drive a stick my
yeah.
first year.
In Germany, I was actually spoiled. I mean, this time I had a car. They gave me a car. I didn't know how to drive it. I still to this day don't know how to drive a stick shift, and I'm trying to learn while I'm home.
You
They
better
gave
learn right now, sweetie. Because
Oh,
let me
I
tell you
got a
something.
class. I
Every
got a class
year,
coming up.
yeah, every year when you go back to Europe, it's all sticks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
don't
Oh,
let them
yeah.
fool you.
And
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
crazy in Minnesota. I have a class I'm gonna sign up for. It's only 2 hour class where you can learn how to drive a stick. So it's actually coming up on July 5th. I said, yeah, I need to learn this. Like, every year so I have a class coming up to do that. So I was given a car, I was given a bike, I was given a limited bus pass. Um, Gosh, I was eating at a like cafe place, like unlimited. So everything in Germany was nice. I mean, I never went through anything like terrible. Like the people were like close to America, but Germany's people are a little nicer. Actually, a lot
Okay.
nicer.
Okay.
Um, um, and the team I was on was very family oriented. Like it was almost like playing for like an AAU team. Like if I needed something, it was like the teammates would all come together and be like, okay, we need, if you need this, you need that. So it was all family. I was never left out in the open. I was never just, if anytime I need something, I could always go to a teammate or, some even the coach. I mean, they were all the family club type. So um facility with the gym we was playing at was nice. I could get in there overnight if I wanted to. So I was given everything in Germany. Um everything. Yeah. So then I hit when I was in Germany. I was living in this big like condo place with another roommate. She's another American. I mean, came with a kitchen with the TV inside, had my own room. So it was luxury type, luxury.
Okay, okay. Well,
Yeah, it
that's
was
a good thing.
luxury.
Like I said, they take care of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Certain
Germany
teams take
take
care
care
of
of them
you.
people.
Yeah,
They
they
do,
take
they
care of you.
do.
So you
Yeah,
so
go
you
ahead.
came back, you finished the year, right?
Yeah.
And now you're looking for your next team. Has your agent hit you up with like any possibilities for next year?
Yeah. So far, yep. He just we actually just talked a couple days ago. So it's only June. So it's still early, you
Yes,
know. It's
yes,
still
yes, yes.
early from what I told him, like what I wanted for next season and stuff. So I'll be leaving with majority between August and September. I just don't know when because the big, top teams really don't open up. They open up now, but not like where I told where like Spain I want to go to next or Greece, Israel. So or I could go back to Germany. So I told him I said just send my profile to these teams or to these countries I would like to play in. So um Ireland, the top league, actually just told him that they're interested. So they're just they're right now teams are just looking at people's profiles and you know how that goes. Like they're looking at profiles and trying to narrow
Yeah,
down who they
yeah.
want and stuff. So I'll probably won't hear anything until probably like middle of July.
Yeah, usually that's what happens, because here's like usually teams that try to get you there. They want to get you there early August, but you try to push it back until late August.
Yeah,
Because they want you practicing. Like to be honest, they like if you have a national team, guys, they won't be back until September, but they want you practicing with the young guys
yeah,
so they
preseason,
can.
preseason.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah,
they want you to see if you're in
yeah,
shape or not, so they can bring you in and get you out if you're not hooping good.
yeah.
I've seen it where guys come in August, they might be not in tip top shape. They might have a good practice and a bad
Mhm.
practice and a good practice, and then they play in the game. They play in. All right, next. All right,
Right,
next. So
right.
August is the month where they bring you in and they bring you out if you're not like an
Mhm.
established American. If you come in and do your thing, so
Right.
I think that you'll be fine. I'm not worried about your skill. Like I think once you get there, you'll
Yeah,
be fine.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So what would you say
It,
the best thing you learned about your first year overseas?
whew, we got it good in America. When I say that, because whew, there's the things overseas. First of all, I'm gonna go back to I'm saying I'm blessed because um I guess I would say definitely being blessed because I mean being the money I was earning wasn't the top money, but I still had a chance. I still had a chance to show what I could do my first year.
Mm-hmm.
Um I learned that, it does take, if you got something else going on inside, like say a part-time job back in America, you won't have time to play basketball. I'm sorry, I don't care what it is. It will be hard because of time difference. So I would definitely say, they're very time management, time consuming. I had a planner. I had a planner all places I've been
Yeah.
to because I had to write down because my phone sometimes my phone doesn't change the time on my phone. So I had to like, okay, well, this is at 9 o'clock a.m. in Minnesota time, but it could be 2 o'clock in Serbia or
Mm-hmm.
2 o'clock in Germany. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say definitely time management and just you gotta be on top of your priorities because if you don't, if you don't get shots up on your own, for example, overseas, if you just rely on practice, you won't last because it does take it just like when you work in a game like college or whatever. It kind of the same concept, but you gotta have way more focus. You're not 95% of your time should be or 98% of your time should be on what you got going on overseas. Like if you have something else going on inside, you know how to manage it, which it would have to be a very small change. You got to focus on that because overseas is a whole different world. So I would say time management
Yep.
And you got to just focus on what you got going over there first before trying to, do stuff you did back in America. So
That is a heck of a statement, by the way, because that's exactly how I thought about it. Like I used to tell people, they used to ask me, how do you survive over here for 9, 10 months at a time? I said, this is my world. I don't think about I don't think about the world back home until I get back.
yeah,
I had a routine, like you said, a time management where I get up, I watch some world CNN, I go to the gym, I go lift, I come back home, I eat my lunch, I take a nap.
and
I
that's
get it.
all it is overseas. It's
Yeah.
literally eat, sleep, basketball. Like
Uh,
I know a couple players that played in France, right? Or was playing in France, and she's home for the summer. And I told her, I said, I don't know how you had a part-time job in America and also played overseas. I don't know how. I said, there's no way you're playing in France. I thought France was the toughest, one of the toughest countries. I think it was France or Poland. I think she was playing in. I can't
yeah,
remember.
probably because like it's an online thing and it's not too
Mhm.
much work kind of thing. Like back then, obviously when I was hooping, it was none of that. So like,
Yeah.
and the fact that I was by myself. So like with yourself is, obviously you don't have a family yet. So it's the same thing. But that's, like I said, that's a good thing, that you learn how to do that in your first year. That's how, it's kind of like going to college, but now it's the professional way. So
Right, and I'm not saying it's impossible to not. In people that's watching, it's not impossible to have some else going on or something else going on besides playing pro. But it depends on where you play. Overall, every place is different. Like for example, in Germany, I have open time. We would practice, for example, in the morning, starting at like we'll only have 2 hour practice more, and then later on in the afternoon, like 5 o'clock, we'll do like individuals, and then I'll have between that morning, afternoon, all the way to 5 o'clock to do what I got to do. So it was or 7 to 8, 7 to 9. So it wasn't like impossible. It depends on where you play, what demands they have you doing. It depends on places, but I will say majority of the time you might want to just not have nothing else going on. Like you gotta focus on, mainly training, eating, training, sleeping. That's it.
all right.
Because every place is different. Every different leagues expect different things. The top leagues are very hard. You better not have no side job or nothing like that going on. If you play for the top Euro leagues, it'll be hard.
No, you won't. You won't. Because those leagues are. You won't. You won't. You'll just be focused on basketball.
Yeah.
Now, I want to say thank you for coming on. We appreciate
Mm-hmm.
you coming on the show. Got one last question for you. What I ask everybody at one point of their career, and obviously yours is still going. It's like it's still beginning. We go through low points in our career. So I want to know, how'd you get out of the low point of your career so far? Was it family? Was it God? Was it both? Was it whatever that was?
It was definitely number one, God. It was God. He knew, and God knows all hearts, but he knew he knows my heart. He knew what I wanted. He knew um he of course he knows me, but he knows I do. I'm very, very hard on myself, but he calmed me down a lot. I mean, it was just it wasn't into him about just him talking to me. It was more, it was just he works in a mysterious way. He just made it happen. I knew it was him every time. Then it comes my mom. Even though she'll be like, what's going on? I'll just tell her, but if I hear her voice, I'll feel better. Like for example, it might sound crazy. I know I could die tomorrow. And if I call mom, I'll feel so much better because she makes it, she can move mountains. And she was God, and my mom was my go-to.
Okay.
Definitely.
Well, that's the best. Like I said, it's always good to have family, and
Yeah.
that's a blessing. Yeah, huge blessing. All right, so please let everybody know where they can follow you, and if anything you want to shout out for the people, please.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I would Facebook. My name on Facebook is LaShayla Wright Ponder. My Instagram is HooperShade23. And my Instagram is HooperShade23, and my Facebook is LaShayla Wright.
All right. Like I said, please follow her. You know what I'm saying? Like, share, subscribe, because she's up and coming hooper for the future. And like I said, in 5 years, 10 years, if she's still hooping, we definitely you know, if we're gonna follow her career, I'm gonna follow her career very closely to make sure she's doing her thing. And if she's not, she's gonna get a video call from me on Instagram.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, you
Mhm.
know, you can follow me at Travis W. Reed. That's REED on Instagram and Travis W. Reed on Facebook. Also, if you're still looking for that Athlete's Journey merch, Travis Reed, just DM me on Instagram or message me on Facebook. Still got that going. You know, like the shows, everything's will still keep coming. It's gonna be a little bit slower because it's the summer. So people are, you know, going on vacation and stuff. But like, yeah, we know the shows still be coming. Still got more episodes to come. So, like I said, I appreciate you. And thank you. And like I said, we'll see you next time, next week. Peace.
Thank you for having me, man.